Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Trilogy for the Nintendo Switch. Brought to you by Capcom.
Woohoo!
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and hit that bell to be notified when more Ace Attorney arrives every day at 3 p.m. So it's time for us to dive back into the courtroom and find out how Look at Me did it. October 14th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 4.
My sis!
I could have sworn I heard Maya's voice. Mia! Ghost.
So then, she's still alive inside your heart, Nick. Nicky boy!
Oh boy. Oh, Miss Delight, what's up?
Is it true? The detective is the real killer?
To be honest, we don't have any definitive proof yet, but yeah, he's the one who could have... He's the only guy who could have done it.
But wasn't he at Lordly Taylor that night? Not to mention, we don't exactly know his motive. I mean, why would Detective Adby want to kill King Bullard?
Oops, it's almost time. Better get back to the courtroom.
Well, we didn't have any time to do anything.
I need to find some solid proof, and it's gotta happen sooner rather than later. Oh, great. He has no proof. Phoenix. October 14th, 12:21, and Ambi's got an earache today, so... And yesterday.
Yeah, so my voice actually sounds weird because I can barely move my mouth.
Her jaw, yeah.
Yeah.
Now then, this court is back in session. Mr. Look at Me, please take the stand. Oh boy. Well, 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 how do you do, Sir Lawyer? I never would have thought to see you acting so recklessly. I couldn't let them hand down your verdict just yet. Not when it would have given you your perfect alibi. An alibi by the name of Mask de Mask. I'm sorry. I'm afraid even the great Look at Me has no idea what you mean. Of course. I have been in the next courtroom ever since 10 o'clock this morning. I'm afraid there's no way I could have known what's going on in here. You've been in the defendant's seat all day, correct? Being tried as Mask de Mask. Indeed, it's truly child's play to fool the ignorant masses. Not only did the poor fools ask me to protect their valuables, they even gave me a generous reward upon returning their own property to them. Take this red diamond ring that sparkles upon my divine finger, for example. So you continue to insist that you're in fact Mask de Mask, eh? Of course. Very well then, Look at Me. Let us begin with this simple question. On October 12th at 1 a.m., Cain Bullard was murdered. Where were you at that time? One without knowledge lacks even the knowledge that he should be ashamed of himself. But don't worry, I will not hold it against you, Sir Judge. Thanks? Wait, what? Oh boy, how many characters am I doing now?
I have no idea. Look, I lost track.
All right, Mr. Adme. The night of the murder. Speak. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Coffee, good.
We're all ears. As you wish, Sir Prosecutor. Ready? The alibi. I was stealing the urn as Mask de Mask, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. It was pathetically an easy job. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mask de Mask was the time as the murderer. The same time. How do you know that? It seems the main point of discussion will be in this photo of the crime scene. Everything else everything else up until now is all part of his plan. There has to be a secret to his picture as well. Even the great Mask de Mask cannot be in two places at once. Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have a verdict to receive. Unfortunately, Mr. Adme, we still have to do your cross-examination. A fool is too foolish to know that he is a fool.
I think he's trying to say that you're full of it, Nick.
The only thing that he's full of is his alibi. Okay. The alibi. There's something that stinks about his second statement.
Yeah, I mean...
was stealing the urn as Mass de Mass, just as I announced I would. I had more than enough time to prepare. Whoops. Wait, no, go back. I wanna press that one. I was stealing the urn just as I announced I would. This one. Hold it! Okay. I believe Adrian Andrews hired you at one point, right? That's right. That was over 20 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. You sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor 10 days before the heist. That would mean you set out the card after you began your security watch, right? Indeed. There was no reason why I couldn't do both jobs at once. It was the perfect opportunity to steal my latest target. I see. You truly are evil, aren't you? Yes, evil is what I am.
Hey, Nick! Isn't there something odd about all this?
Huh?
Detective Admin was always proud of his ace detective skills, right? But if the urn was stolen from Lordly Taylor while he was the only one watching it, he'd have no way to maintain his perfect ace detective persona.
You know, that's true. It's kind of odd. A photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. The time at which the camera captured Mass de Mask was the same time as the murder. How would you know that?
Yeah.
About the camera that took this photograph. Oh, come now, it's all too clear what you're thinking. You think I altered the timestamp on the photograph, don't you? I'm afraid that's impossible. The camera was set up by Lordly Taylor, and on top of that, it was Lordly Taylor's staff that printed that picture's data. Unfortunately for the defense, there's no way that picture could have been altered. I see. It looks like I'd better find something else that could be suspicious.
So this alibi is false then, Nick?
It has to be, or he couldn't have killed Mr. Bullard at KB Security.
But I'm not really spotting anything unusual.
There are two possibilities. Either the Mass de Mask in the photo is fake, or the photo itself is. The photo itself? Okay, so you want us to present the photo itself back on that statement? Okay. Photograph contains no words, but in this... Oh, okay. Any objections, Amber, to presenting the photo?
I don't think so. I think we can try... Yeah, might as well present the photo and see what happens.
Nope, it was wrong. The witness statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. I'm sorry, you're wrong. But I can see nothing faulty. Nope. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Wright. Dang it.
Aw, man. Alright, well, did we press all of his statements or no?
I thought we did. The photograph contains no words, but in this case, one turned out to be my witness. Well, I didn't do that one. So by photograph, you mean this piece of evidence here. Is that correct? Indeed it is. That is it. The very thing that proves I committed the crime. The very thing, huh? That proves you committed the crime. Surely even you understand by now. Lordly Taylor provided that camera. There's no way I could have tampered with it. That means I could not have killed Cain Bullard unless I had an accomplice. An
I don't buy that. No, I think he did it.
Oh, of course. Come on, think long and hard about that night. The basement warehouse, this picture that supposedly captures it. It's gotta be here. Isn't there something funny about this picture? Yes, there is! The paint! The paint!
Yeah.
Are you implying that this picture is fake? You bet I am. There's definitely something strange about this picture. We took a look around the basement warehouse that night before the theft took place. And there is something in this photo that doesn't match my memory of that night. Very well, then let's hear what you have to say. What about this photograph do you find funny? Probably be the paint or the box itself. Because there's paint on the floor, but there's no paint on the box that I can see.
What do we find funny about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's the box. Or it could be the pink paint. I'll go with the pink paint. I was
Yeah.
right. The funny part is right here. Why, this is bloodstain. Ah, blood! No, now this case is getting interesting. No, not exactly. This stain is actually pink paint. Oh, just paint. And peach colored as that. From blood to peaches, the judge sure loves going on his wild tangents. The problem with this photograph is not the paint. The problem is when you consider the layout of the basement warehouse. It turns out that something that should be there is nowhere to be seen. The statue? You said the statue, right? Well, Mr. Wright?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What is supposed to be in the picture instead of the paint stains? The statue. The supervisor of the treasure exhibit stated the following.
Well, there's a good reason for that. On the day of the crime around noon, that golden statue just happened to arrive from the Mountain Trading Hall. I realized that the statue would be the perfect size for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it.
I myself was there the night the theft took place, and saw the statue in that very spot. If this picture was truly taken on that night, then that statue should have been there. Oh. But when I went there the day after the theft, that statue of the old bag was sitting in the corner. Perhaps it was somehow pushed that accidentally? Your Honor, this statue is slightly larger than yourself and quite heavy. It would take more than an accidental push to move it that distance.
Whoa.
In that case, can you prove it? Can you give us the rhyme and reason as to why that statue was moved that night?
Whoa. Can you do it, Nick?
Never mind who moved it. The real question is, why did they move it? Well, Mr. Wright, I hope you are prepared with your answer. Now then, who was the one that moved the golden statue on the night of the crime? It'd probably be this guy.
Yeah, I think so.
The one who moved the statue is none other
It
than...
has to be Luke at me.
Look at me!
Yay!
Come now, Sir Lawyer. There you go again on one of your strange delusions. Mr. Wright, what basis do you have for your strange delusions? It's very simple. The witness was the only one in the basement warehouse that night. That is indeed very simple. However, why would I want to move a heavy golden statue? The reason for moving the golden statue, here's where our battle really begins. Well, Mr. Wright, what reason did the witness have to move that statue? The reason can be found here in this photograph, Your Honor. Look at me, you pretended to be Master Mask to create an alibi by showing you were at Lordly Taylor that night. But this photograph contains a single fatal flaw. If that statue had been there, your lie would be exposed like cheap film at a drugstore. That is why you had to move the statue. A single fatal flaw? Interesting theory. Please enlighten us. Just where in this picture does... Alright, so we already presented the pink splotch. I don't think it has to do with the box. He's not wearing his emblem. The only other things it looks like, you have the clock here, and that's it. So I'm gonna go with clock.
Yeah, he was saying he couldn't have done it, so...
Naturally, the lie in this photo is the timestamp. What do you mean? I'll tell you exactly what I mean. Please enlighten us. On the night in question, Luke at me went to KB Security and murdered Kane Bullard. Therefore, it's obvious. It would have been impossible for him to have been at Lordly Taylor at this time.
Yeah!
Okay. But what does it have to do with the statue being moved? Remember, if you will, Your Honor, when was this statue placed besides the warehouse door? Well, the statue was taken down to the warehouse on the day of the crime, and it was placed there in order to cover up the paint. Exactly. Luke at me had already decided on the time when he was going to kill the victim, and so in order to create an alibi for that time, he took his picture days before the murder took place. What the?
Whoa.
Of course, the statue hadn't yet been brought down to the basement warehouse yet. Ah! So, on the day of the crime, Mr. Atme must have been quite nervous. As nervous as a long-tailed cat in a rocking chair factory, so to speak. Why? Because something that wasn't supposed to be there had been brought down and placed where it wasn't supposed to be on that day. And that is why Look at Me had to move the statue on the night of the murder. He did it to make the room match the way it was when he had taken the photo. Yeah!
Whoa, that's crazy.
Order! Mr. Atme, is this true? One moment, Your Honor. Have you forgotten this? What's that? Ah, the data of the basement warehouse computer. According to this, the camera did indeed go off on the night of the crime. It's true that the camera had been set up by the Lordly Taylor staff. However, the program used to manage that data was yours. That alone would have allowed you to tamper with the data. Yeah!
Whoa.
That's problematic. Order! Mr. Godot, what is the meaning of this? Anytime, Godot. Godot! I warned you about making me wait, now put that coffee down! My 11th cup. I've promised to drink no more than 17 during a trial. Which means I'm still good till the last drop. However, the defense has a very good point. A good point? So what? We are all but travelers on a road of infinite points.
I think he's got his joints mixed up with the other points.
So you say this photograph was taken ahead of time, and that the statue was moved in order to make it match? That's a very interesting idea. However, there's one point that can't be denied. Which is... It's only a possibility. Men that are trapped by chains of maybe can never reach their dreams. That's very true. No way! Don't fall for that, Your Honor. Hey, Mr. Damask. Yes? If there's no funny business in your actions as Master Mask, there should be no problem with you telling us your strategy, so let's hear it. Yes, please provide this court with your testimony about your plan to steal the sacred urn.
Witness testimony.
Sacred Urn Heist. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and sorry, it was then sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually able to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was an extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. I then handed security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at I Am on October 12th. And I Am.
Ami spelled backwards down there.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it?
Yeah, but we will find the truth in the nuggets of new information he gave. Witness, you're sure you have no mistakes this time? Sorry! Okay. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may begin your cross-examination. The Urn Heist. I first received the request from Lordly Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in a box, and sorry, it was sent to the warehouse. Hold it! You mean this box? Yes, that pathetic box. Lady Andrews was especially taken with that urn, and so she wouldn't let anyone enter the storeroom, not even me. Interesting new tidbit. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before? Indeed. You may ask Lady Andrews to confirm yourself. My security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers. I knew it was extremely vulnerable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. Okay.
Sent his card.
I then handed security by myself to ensure that my crime would go smoothly. Okay. At last, I held the urn in my hands. Hang on a second. And this is the photo that proves that, huh? Indeed. To be honest, even if the photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey, Nick, if this photo is a fake, Detective Adme might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to take a hard look at the court record. Do I have the urn?
I think we have it. I thought we had it in our, not a lot to go on, is there, huh?
That detective's been covering his tracks far too well. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime.
I wonder how we're gonna prove that. Alright then, how do we do that?
Maybe a photo or some type of evidence that he's been there for a while? Like on a stakeout or something? There's one thing that Atme stated very clearly. That he had never seen the urn before he stole it.
We need to prove that he's lying!
Okay, so...
There we go.
The urn was placed in a box, this one. So, we need something that proves that he was there. They said that they received this before the heist even appeared, so I'm gonna go with this.
Okay.
Mr. Atme, if you really are Master Mask, then you also wrote this calling card, correct? But of course. Is there a problem with that calling card? Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mask had written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled urn here surely refers to this pink pattern on the sacred urn. Yes, that is true, but so what? The truth be told, there's no way that Master Mask could have known about this pattern.
That's right, because it wasn't originally speckled.
That's right. What do you mean? The pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than paint stains. Paint stains? And these stains did not appear until after the urn had been taken to Lordly Taylor.
Dun dun dun!
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite. The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error, or should I say, an error-prone human. Whoops. And that's when the pink paint got on the urn. Ugh. You can't be serious. Oh, but I can be. And yet this calling card clearly mentions the paint pattern. Which means Detective Atme had seen this urn long before the crime ever took place, because he said, I am. In fact, he saw it when he took this fake photo. Fatui! And because this photo was fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water. Okay. So how do we prove it? All right, very interesting, Mr. Knight. Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself at all? No. All right, that did it. He's broken.
Nick, it's still a little early for a victory pose.
Huh? What do you mean? Oh, because he's still smiling. Okay. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Master Mask, and now we're calling him a murderer.
Well, we were wrong about yesterday.
Mistakes happen. You don't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point. No way, don't fall for that too, Your Honor. You say that Look At Me was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point. Motive, Mr. Wright, motive. Might you, my merry murderous motive, manifest?
Nick! He's getting a second wind!
If he prepared for an alibi and pinned this crime on Ron Delight as you say, he must have had a very strong motive for murder.
The only one thing, any motive we've seen is Ron Delight. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Well, you made up the motive.
Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in a murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us as to what the defendant's motives were?
I'd be honored to, Sir Oldtimer. They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance. Here we go. Motive for murder.
Whoa.
Whoops. I look at me had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Mask Day Mask and simply mistook who he was. What does that mean? It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron Delight. And it was again Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Delight for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes he is Mask Day Mask. That is how Mr. Delight saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. I don't know.
What?
So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant?
This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment. A handwritten test confirms that Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter. How?
Whoa.
Blackmail letter updated, so it was from Bullard.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Begin your cross-examination.
Okay. I look at me had no points of contact with the victim whatsoever. Feel you're lying. Kane decided to investigate. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter. How did you know that before we just decided? That's impossible.
Yeah.
They just said it. The prosecutor just said it. Mind if you ask, we ask you a few questions there at me? Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's all right. Okay, when you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction. Contradiction?
I don't know where a walking contradiction like you gets off saying things like that.
You're the one to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists. Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Show us the contradictory evidence in the content of the blackmail letter.
Okay.
Contradictory evidence.
Well, that would probably have to be from this newspaper clipping about the first heist. I believe this is right.
Possibly.
Take a good look at this newspaper clipping, Your Honor. It contains a perfect picture of the tear of Emanon, the stolen jewel.
What about it?
Whoa.
The problem is this jewel's color. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
Which means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the tear of Emanon that Mask Day Mask stole at all.
Whoa.
Why does Phoenix Wright always kill my voice? And your point is, Mr. Trite? You're trying to say that this blackmail letter was indeed intended for someone else? That is what you're saying, right?
Is that what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, that is what you're trying to say, right, Nick?
Yes. This is who Kane Bullard was actually blackmailing. Probably be... Look at me.
Ooh, oh, maybe he was blackmailing him.
Bingo. Naturally, it was you, Detective Atme.
Whoa.
Do you have some sort of basis for that claim? You've been personally involved in every single Mask Day Mask case.
And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen and received a jewel as your reward. A jewel? Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring. Yeah.
Oh.
That is the diamond referred to in the letter, which means that Kane Bullard wrote the letter in order to blackmail you. Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That can't be right. Order in the court. Uh-oh. It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite. Uh-oh. I don't like the way he said that. Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke Adme? Are you for real? Yes. Yes, I am.
Nick, come on, stand up to him.
I don't want to get thrown coffee in the face. Then answer me this, boy. The Blackmail Letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world... Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatened to make Luke Adme's identity public knowledge. An identity he wanted to keep secret. So just what was that identity? Adme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid his secret becoming known. What was the identity he wanted to keep secret?
This is what it all comes down to, Nick.
The identity that Luke Adme wanted so desperately to keep secret was... a blackmailer. I think. Luke Adme was a blackmailer. What? Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Adme. Are you saying that Adme was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
You have to admit, that does sound a little odd.
It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Adme. But Ron Delight was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So did you start receiving blackmail letters after this incident? Yes, just a few days after the Tear of Emmenon heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans. Detailed plans? What? In which case, that would mean that Ron Delight was actually Master Mask? That's what we're claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. Delight steal his targets for them. And that someone was none other than you. Look at me. Silence!
Whoa.
Please? Now I see it's all becoming clear. What is it? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong? How did you... You say that Luke Adme was blackmailing Ron Delight? In which case I would naturally know all about his relation to Master Mask. Well, yeah. Ron Delight started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed the first crime. A good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hotter evidence.
Yeah.
During the first crime, how did Luke Adme know that Ron Delight was Master Mask? That's easy. The photo with him in the picture. Where is it? Nope, that's not it. Oh my gosh, where is it? No, wait, the newspaper clipping is the one with the photo. This!
I think so.
I think I see it. See what? When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Gets into lots of mischief, trying to be the center of attention.
Whoa.
What do you mean? This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Ron Delight in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in the bucket. That sounds far too stupid to be true. Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. And that's when you figured it out, Mr. Adme. That's when you learned that it was Rhonda Light under the mask of Master Mask. Ark! What in the... wasn't he supposed to be the mask?
Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective.
Can't believe it. He's just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud! Trying to pass himself off as a detective.
Why, you? How dare you expose me like that? Why, I mean, I never blackmailed anyone in my life. I'm a famous and proud ace detective and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that?
Well,
I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why, you? How dare you even... I say, don't gonna discriminate me. Ace detective, blackmailer?
Please tell me it's over.
Uh-oh. Well, what happens next? You'll have to tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to see how this case of Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Trilogy wraps up. And we're gonna like, comment, subscribe, and hit that playlist to find more episodes in case you missed it because YouTube's dumb. Anyway, have a great day, guys. I will see you at 3 p.m. with more Ace Attorney as the case continues. Cliffhanger! God bless and happy gaming.